Hey there, everybody. DeRosa here, coming at you with another bolt action battle report. Today's battle report is a take on the Stalingrad campaign book from Warlord Games. Member Paul and I decided that we would take a crack at the Stalingrad campaign book, and this is the first scenario in the sequence of scenarios to fight out the Stalingrad campaign. The first scenario is a fight for the Don Bridgeheads, and it takes place on August 12th, 1942, and it's called Scenario 1, The Last Bridge Over the River Don. The goal for the Soviet Union in this game is to destroy the bridge after all their forces cross over it to the eastern side of the river before the Germans can capture the bridge and cross themselves. If they do this and they are successful at blowing the bridge, then they will get victory points and allow themselves to win the game. The Soviet forces were taken from the Don Volga theater selector, taken from this book, and then also the German forces were taken from the Gates of Stalingrad theater selector, also from the Stalingrad scenario book. The Soviet commander decided it would be best to try to rush the road and get to the bridge as soon as possible and blow it up behind them, and start the fuses on the bridge as quickly as they could. And so that was the goal of the Soviet commander. They put the vehicles all on the road in like a spear point, and then the soldiers on the wings. And then their goal was just to keep moving forward at a run for at least the first 3 turns and to see what happened. The German had a Panzer III and an 88 gun, and a bunch of Pioneer troops or actually 1 unit of Pioneer troops in the Hanomags, as you can see there. And so I luckily got the Germans to focus on my flank, on my tank, and on some of my left flank troops. And that allowed me to focus my center and my right troops to run forward and cross the bridge. And as you'll see in the game, the Germans made that fatal flaw of focusing on the left flank. I was allowed as a Soviet player to have one infantry troop and 1 artillery troop in the eastern side of the river. So I put a medium machine gun in one building and a heavy mortar in the other area. We had also a sniper, so that allowed me to put the sniper up into the hillsides, which allowed me to get cover for my troops as they ran home to the east. As you can see here, the fight was frantic on the left wing. The German player dropped his 88 millimeter immediately and tried to blow up tanks. He missed in that regard. And then the Soviet player might have made a mistake because he focused his troops, Siberian troops, right onto the 88 instead of moving forward. And that really gummed up the works over there. As you can see, there's a lot of pins on the vehicles. At one point, I believe the Panzer III foo-bars, but because of his positioning, he can't shoot anyone. And so it's just a real grind fest on the left wing. But as you can see, my Russian Soviet troops are sneaking up. They can use the Balkas, and the armored car and the truck rush up. There's troops in the truck. They jump out of the bridge, and then they set up a defensive fire position to shoot back at the Germans following them. The Germans were able to focus their troops after they destroyed the left wing, and it was hit and miss all up until the end of the game. The Germans were biting at the heels of the Soviets as they ran across the bridge. At this point, having the medium machine gun, the armored car, and the truck all over the eastern side with troops in the truck, I decided to have those troops jump out. And then in a moment, you'll see the lieutenant will light the fuse on the bridge, which takes 1 turn to light. And then we roll to see if the bridge blows. It was a very Soviet thing to do. I light the fuse with troops on the bridge, even knowing that they could be blown up at any moment in the next turn. Luckily for them, they do not get blown up on the first turn. It was turn 4 when the fuse is lit, and then they roll off on turn 5 and it blows up. So they luckily made it. At some point on our left flank, these 2 troops were left facing each other in a dueling banjos situation. And the troops kept shooting at each other. He had a medium machine gun, or actually a light machine gun, and I had that right submachine gun. We kept shooting each other, and then the Soviet player ended up shooting and killing the German player. So obviously I was happy about that. But it ended up just being a little side note to the game. You can see the Soviet players rushing for the bridge before it blows. He was able to blow up my tank with his pioneer troops. I believe it was his pioneer troops. I could be wrong. And then here's the dueling banjos still. The Panzer III foobarred at this point and was sort of not helping out the cause. He sent his Hanomag and troops rushing forward, following me. He will turn his 222 in a moment towards me. Here my troops are jumping out. You can see the lieutenant on the right side of the bridge. This is turn 4. At this moment, he will light the fuse. The position gave me great cover to cover my troops as they ran across the bridge, and to pin down the German troops as they came on. The sniper up on the hill on my right side totally helped out a lot, and then now he's just getting concentrated fire as the Germans rush towards the bridge. Here the Soviets set up a defensive line on the eastern side, waiting for the bridge to blow. Here is Ivan, the winner of the dueling banjos. And then the pioneer troops, which I was very afraid of, the flamethrower, did a lot of damage on my tank, which you saw blown up earlier, now rush towards the bridge. The medium machine gun is going to put down covering fire for my troops as they rush across the bridge. Ivan is going to be lost on the western side. He'll become a partisan and live a life of adventure and scary death. So overall, this was a really fun scenario, a lot of drama with the blowing of the bridge. You don't know when it's going to blow. I think if the German player would speak to you, he would tell you, which you can see on a different link, and I will post in our description, a more in-depth video from our left coast buddies. They did a video also. But overall, the German players should have probably just focused on the bridge instead of focusing on my troops on the left flank. All right. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And at the end here, you're going to see how it ends up with most of my Soviet troops across the bridge on the eastern side with the bridge blown, and then the Germans left holding the bag. All right. Again, thanks for watching, and we will see you at the tables.